How do you know a singer's stuck outside your house? Well, they can't find the key and they don't know when to come in. No, but seriously, here's a story about this. This is a true story. In one of my early bands, just playing my own original music, one day I was rehearsing at this rehearsal studio, and we took a break, and I was out front with a bass player buddy of mine. He was smoking a cigarette, and he started telling me some woes about another group he'd put together, a band that he was leading. And I knew some of the musicians in the band, and he just started telling me, well, we got together, and we play primarily the singer's original music, but they also were throwing in some covers. And with the covers, he was coming up with his own arrangements, and they would have big instrumental sections in the middle of these songs where they would open up and they all would solo. But when they'd come back in, they'd try and get the singer to come back in, at a certain point, and they kept missing their entrance. Now, the band would try to cue this girl, but she just couldn't hear it. And if you're not used to certain signals, in a song, take, for example, let's say you're playing a blues and you have like a turnaround. To me, that's like a big, road sign. And as you get more advanced as a musician, you want to be able to hear those things and be like, okay, I know where we are. We're turning around here. We're going back to the top. But if a musician can't hear those signals, if they can't hear the chord changes, if they can't hear the bass line, if they can't hear things like maybe in a jazz tune, it's something like a 1-6-2-5, then they're going to get lost. It's like driving blind. And I'm not just picking on this girl here. The same thing happens with guys all the time and musicians. A lot of times you'll see it with singers because they don't sit down and play an instrument. They don't know the key that they do the song in. They don't know the chords that are happening. But if they sit down and start learning those things, maybe on the piano, maybe on guitar, then they can start to hear, oh, okay, that's when that chord changes, or oh, the bass line does this, and then that's going to cue me here. And you go from like driving blind to basically having your eyes open, and theoretically you'll never get lost because you know where you are in the song. And I specifically remember my friend saying, her ear's just not there yet. And this is something that a lot of musicians struggle with, and they don't know how to practice it either. But if you're a guitarist and you want to improve this, then go to johnmcclennan.com/golden-ear and get your hands on my free ear training cheat sheet. This is going to show you some guitar-specific ways to start improving your ear. And your ear is your most valuable asset as a musician because music is a hearing art. So go to johnmcclennan.com/golden-ear and grab that now as my gift to you. As always, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you might like this one next.